Thank you, Robert McNally and the 98th Basic Police Training class for that opening ceremony. Hello, everyone. My name is Tayfun Selen, the Morris County Commissioner Director. You can have a seat. Thank you for joining the Morris County Board of County Commissioners in our annual Memorial Day observance ceremony. Before we go further, I would like everyone to stand and join me in a moment of silence for the children and their teachers who were senselessly killed in Texas yesterday. And I cannot imagine the grief of the community is enduring today. Thank you. Please have a seat. Now, as you know, we gather here every May, usually on the courthouse lawn, to honor the fallen members of our armed forces as well as our veterans for Memorial Day. We are delighted so many could join us again this year. At this time, I ask everyone to stand as our Morris County Sheriff James Gannon leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's salute the greatest country on earth. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Sheriff Gannon. May I now ask everyone to remain standing as our national anthem is performed by the Lakeview School of Denville 4th grade select choir led by vocal music teacher Danielle Komorowski. Thank you, Danielle Komorowski, and your talented students. Let's give a round of applause again one more time for those talented students. That was beautiful and inspiring. Allow me to now introduce Father Stephen Bilk, who will lead us in prayer and invocation. I want to thank him for being here today. He is the pastor of St. John's Ukrainian Catholic Church in Whippany. The Ukrainian community in Whippany has always been a strong and supportive part of our Morris County family. And since the Ukraine was brutally invaded by Russia, we have strengthened our bonds. While we have asked Father Stephen to help us honor our fallen American soldiers and veterans today, and I want him to know that we're all saying a prayer for the people of Ukraine and their relatives here in America. Thank you, Father Stephen. And Father.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me for this special day today, and I feel recognized. The whole community of Whippany that comes to St. John the Baptist Ukrainian Church is recognized, and I feel support on behalf of my home country, Ukraine. Today is the 91st day of war in Ukraine. 91 days with the blood flowing. The war which is causing so much of pain and suffering. Russian army invaded our homeland 91 days ago. Ukraine is standing. Ukraine is fighting. Perhaps we who live in the country that is well established in peace and freedom might not experience to the depth the devastation caused by war. But during this war, thousands of tons of various explosives, bombs, missiles, shells constantly fall on our heads in Ukraine. Both military, civilians, innocent people. Every day, between 50, more than 100 soldiers die at the front line. More than that, civilians, because we cannot count. Don't have the information, precise information. But Ukraine is standing. Ukraine is fighting because she believes in God, and she has support from her brothers and sisters, especially from your country, our country, United States of America, England, Poland, and dozens of other countries that stretched their hand of help. That's why we stand at the 91st day of war, and we will prevail. We will prevail together. As here today, we must remember those who withstand and withstood the darkness of war, suffering, and death in overcoming the evil of this world in order to protect this beautiful country that we live in now, the United States of America. We must remember, in remembering our heroes, we find the strength to become heroes ourselves. We stand on unshakable shoulders of our heroes. They are a foundation of all blessings we all enjoy today. Let us pray. Dear God, we thank you for the freedom you have given to us, and we remember today the cost of it all, the great and ultimate sacrifice of many, men and women, in protecting this freedom. We thank you for the brave men and women who presently continue to defend God-given rights of life, worship, peace, happiness, and prosperity of this country. We ask for your blessings over them, their families, everyone who trusts in you, and everyone here present on the Morris County Memorial Day observance. O God, grant peace to your world, to our nation under God, to our government, to Morris County, to all your people. Please be with all who serve our communities and nation every single day. We ask that you provide your protection and your guidance. For you are the truth, you are the way, and you are the light. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, now and forever and ever. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Father Stepan. Again, our prayers are with you and the Ukrainian people. Please have a seat. Before we move on, I want to acknowledge and thank some very special guests for joining us today. Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill, Congressman Tom Malinowski, Senator Anthony Bucco, Assemblywoman Ora Dunn, Assemblyman Chris Barranco, Sheriff Jim Gannon and his leadership staff, Prosecutor Robert Carroll, First Assistant Maggie Calderwood, Chief of Detectives Chris Kimker, County Clerk Ann Grassi, County Surrogate Heather Darling, and CCM President, County College of Morris President Tony Iocano. Of course, we have all of our commissioners here today. Deputy Director John Krikos, Doug Cabana, Kathy DiFilippo, Tom Mastrangelo, Stephen Shaw, Deborah Smith. Finally, we also are fortunate to have with us number 7, it's not me, also known as Uncle Frank Drutzler here. Happy birthday, Uncle Drutzler. And now I will introduce Deputy Commissioner John Krikos, who will present another tradition in our annual ceremony, a look back on a fallen Morris County hero. But before we move on, John, please let me offer the condolences on behalf of the entire Board of Commissioners and Morris County on the passing yesterday of your brother, Tom. We were saddened to hear the news. Let us know if there's anything we can do, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for that, and mentioned that my brother Tommy was an Army veteran, 3rd Armored Division. So today, we're going to look back on fallen Morris County heroes. We do not forget our heroes in Morris County, especially those who fall in combat or during military service. It's a tradition to remember at least one by name at our Memorial Day observance. And this year, we look back on one who suffered through one of the most brutal conflicts in our nation, the Civil War. Charles Spencer's life and service to our nation was short, and a story of sadness and human tragedy, as is found in every war. He was born in Rockaway in 1844, and he worked as a laborer. By the time he enlisted in March 3rd, 1864, with the New Jersey 5th Regiment, Company D. Charles Spencer, in a letter home written March 17th, 1864, from Brandy Station, Virginia, offered the thoughts of a homesick young man waiting to hear from home just 2 weeks after he enlisted. And I know we have a lot of veterans here from before the smartphone age and all that, and letters from home and to home meant so much. I'll read it as largely written. Dear father and mother, sisters and brothers, I am well at present and hope that you are same. I have not received no letter from you yet, but I thought I would write you and let you know how I'm getting along where I am. I have left Alexander. I am at Brander Station, and I like it very well so far. I've been on review here at Brander Station. There was about 30,000 soldiers on the field. You may bet it was a large army. They covered about 40 acres. There were 4 bands on the field. This is miserable writing, but I guess that you can make it out. I had to write on my knapsack. It's not like writing on the stand. I am looking for a letter from you. Tell Kyle that he must visit me. I must bring my letter to a close, so goodbye. He signed off as Mr. Charles Spencer, March 1864. Spencer was 19 years old, stood 5'5" with light hair and blue eyes. By June 14th of that year, 3 months later, Private Charles Spencer was dead. He died of dysentery. In fact, 2 of 3 Civil War soldiers who died from disease. He was buried at 5 o'clock that evening at Alexandria National Cemetery. On June 28, 1864, his personal effects were sent back to Rockaway. His name is on a memorial in Rockaway and a national tombstone in Alexandria National Cemetery. Today, I ask everyone to please join me in remembering Charles Spencer and all of those who lost their lives in the service of our nation with a moment of silence. Thank you very much. I have the honor of introducing our keynote speaker, but before I do, Father Stepin, please let your friends and relatives in Ukraine know how much we admire their courageous fight for freedom, for the tragic sacrifices they are making to repulse the invader, and that the people of Morris County stand in solidarity with the people of the Ukraine. Slava Ukraini, glory to Ukraine. So we now have the great honor to introduce our keynote speaker, Emerson Crooks. Let me tell you a little bit about Emerson. There he is. Emerson served in the Marine Corps from 1968 to 72, including service in Vietnam with the 1st Division, where he received the Legion of Merit and a Valor designation for heroism. Emerson continues his service to our community. Notice I say continues, not continued, as in past tense. He's still serving our community, making every day count as a strong advocate for veterans at Lyons VA Hospital and through veterans organizations. He's the vice president of North Jersey Stand Down, which reaches out to homeless vets. In addition, he does advocacy work on behalf of juveniles in the court system and for those suffering mental illness through his work for the Mental Health Association. It's officially called Essex and Morris, but we refer to it as Morris and Essex here. I'm proud and humbled to share the title of United States Marine with Emerson. He's also part of a sacred band of brothers and sisters who served our country in Vietnam with honor. As Admiral Nimitz in World War II observed about the Marines, uncommon valor was a common virtue. Ladies and gentlemen, Marine Corps veteran Emerson Crooks.
When my brother John here mentioned the keynote speaker, I've always known that keynote speakers were special people that was somewhere up there. So I was looking around to see who would be the keynote speaker, and so he called my name. And I'm very proud to be here today. I'll say to you, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, and it is a good afternoon indeed. It's a good afternoon because so many people, fellow Americans, paid the ultimate sacrifice so that we could be sitting here memorializing them. I know veterans were mentioned, and I said, you know, I'm a proud veteran of the Marine Corps, served honorably. And today is just not our day. Today is the day to memorialize the ones that gave all. I have a T-shirt with a saying on it that says, some gave some, and some gave all. Today is for the folks that gave all. And we may only celebrate this maybe this month and today, but folks that are here that are Gold Star families. Every day is Memorial Day for them. I'm in that same category because the folks that I met in the Marine Corps, when it was his Paris Island, we become like families. We become like brothers. And so we protected each other. We look out for each other. So when you lose someone, it's devastating and it's life-changing for you because it never goes away. And for me, every day is Memorial Day. I can't think of one day that I ever go through the whole day without remembering 5 of my squad members that I watched take their last breath. I was with them. Sometimes you go out and things go okay, and sometimes it doesn't. I walk around with a slip of paper. It's generally in my wallet, you know, so every time I go to the store, open my wallet, I see this. And that reminds me, whatever I'm about to purchase, what did it really cost? It doesn't cost the dollars that are in my wallet. This is what it cost. And on here, I have names: Michael Poliquin, Michael Edward Poliquin. Most guys didn't even know Mike's name. We used to call him Meat because it's M-E-P, Michael Edward Poliquin. It wasn't until after he died we found out what his real name was. And so Robert Beckman, Donald Lanningham, William Mega, Thomas Campbell. Those folks were the closest. These were my team. We ate together, slept in the same area, did everything 24/7, never lose sight of these folks. And so Memorial Day is so special to me. It means a lot. It's a very emotional thing. And I'm so thankful for this country that we live in because I know that their sacrifices were not in vain. And as long as we keep our democracy and keep it strong, defend it, be willing to defend it. I sometimes go to high schools and speak to the children. I love going to the high school, speaking to the children for the simple reason that every year myself and a group of Marines, we take what we consider almost like a pilgrimage. We go to Quantico. They give us a place to stay. We go down on the 9th, and on the 10th, the morning of the 10th, we go to the Iwo Jima statue. We like to call it the Marine Corps Memorial. And there's a ceremony. The commandant comes out, and he has Company A, Company B, the Marine Corps band, and we lay a wreath. And then we go over to the Vietnam Memorial Wall, which, by the way, there is a replica of that wall. For those of you who have never been to the Vietnam Memorial Wall in D.C., you'll have an opportunity to see that at the County College of Morris, with the support of some of the fine leaders that you see over here on both sides of me, and also the president of the college, Anthony Icone, who was very willing to support this effort. But we go, and then we visit the wall, the Vietnam Memorial Wall. We still cry. You would think, people might say, look, all these years, and these guys come here and they shed tears, and they'll never understand why. And then we go over and we visit the World War I Memorial. And a few years ago, there was generally no one there, and it was in disrepair. Moss had grown all over this thing. And there's no one there. And we go to World War II, and there's a few people. But then we go to the Vietnam Memorial, and there's a lot of folks there. Why? Because the Vietnam War is still fresh in folks' mind, and a lot of folks here probably know someone or had a family member that was there, and so they get to visit us. But what happens as time passes? Will it become like the World War I? And so this is what I always instill on the children when I go and speak to them, that I come here today to implore you never to forget, because the hamburgers and the hot dogs that you will enjoy this particular weekend, you wouldn't be able to have that if not for the people from the Civil War all the way up. And so I never really miss an opportunity to say stuff, to say that. And I say it with passion. Now, I wrote something here to say, but the thing is, written speeches are generally nice words that folks that are prolific speechwriter would write, and then say words that are not in their normal vocabulary. But I'm a simple person, and I have what I speak is what I live. And so this is why I haven't looked at this thing once. But I write it and I bring it up here because folks that normally speak come up with something, so I figure, hey, they'll think I know what I'm doing here. But I want to thank you so much. For those of you who are here, you know, I'm humbled by your presence. And for the folks that could have been here and chose not to show up, we'll accept their apology. And the ones that wanted to be here but couldn't, we understand. And I want to say God bless you, and thank you again for having me here. And God bless America, and God bless our troops that are still protecting us.
Thank you, Emerson. You always provide us with great insights. And may I remind everyone, Emerson's VFW Post 7333 will be hosting the Vietnam Memorial Moving Wall at the CCM, County College, from July 7th through July 11th. We will all be there. Please spread the word. Now, the Morris County Board of County Commissioners has traditionally used the occasion of our Memorial Day observance to recognize resident veterans by presenting them with the Morris County Distinguished Military Service Medal. These medals are unique to Morris County, and they have been awarded for well over 20 years to veterans or their family members to honor their service to our country. And we are proud to continue our tradition today. These medals began when we wanted to honor our greatest generation, those who fought in World War II, but we expanded the program to cover other times. Sheriff, can you do something? Stop. But we expanded the program to cover other times of service by our men and women, including the Korean War, Vietnam, and other conflicts, when our armed forces put their lives on the line. Once again, we're officially expanding our program. This year, we will include medals specifically designed to recognize service in Operations Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan. And as we present our Distinguished Military Service Medals, State Senator Anthony Bucco and Assemblywoman Ora Dunn will present Senate Assembly citations to each veteran, while Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill and Congressman Tom Malinowski present special honors to those veterans within their congressional districts. We begin with Joseph Brian Barbado of Boonton Township. And presenting the first Distinguished Service Medal, a certificate of authentication, is Commissioner Douglas Cabana. Mr. Barbado served in both Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Iraqi Freedom during 15 years of service in the New Jersey Army National Guard. He began his service in 2008 with the deployments to Iraq, Afghanistan, Bahrain, Somalia, and Horn of Africa, and within the United States in response to the pandemic. Mr. Barbado lived in Boonton Township for several years, and he's a recipient of the Combat Infantry Badge, the Armed Forces Reserve Medal with M device and 10-year bronze hourglass, the Army Commendation Medal, Army Achievement Medal, Meritorious Unit Commendation, Army Good Conduct Medal, and Army Reserve Component Achievement Medal. Mr. Barbado received a Master's of Social Work degree from Ramapo College, and he works part-time as a social worker and in private security. Congratulations, Mr. Barbado, and thank you for your service. Next is David Ernest Brady of Morristown. Presenting the medal is Commissioner Deborah Simmet. Mr. Brady cannot be here, so accepting the honors will be Mr. Brady's older brother, William Brady. David Brady served as a U.S. Army Medical Corpsman from November 1964 through October 1970 during the Vietnam War. He was born and raised in Morristown, one of 8 children, including a twin brother. He served with the 37th Medical Company attached to the 11th Armored Regiment and earned the National Defense Service Medal, the Vietnam Service Medal, Vietnam Campaign Medal, and an Overseas Service Bar. After the military, Mr. Brady obtained a BA degree in education at Montclair State University and became a middle school and high school teacher of industrial arts and technology in Livingston and the Morris School District during a 28-year career. He was a union leader representing New Jersey on the National Education Association Board of Directors for 6 years. Mr. Brady, now living in Nevada, is the father of 4 children and 7 grandchildren. Now, Mr. William Brady, yes, let's present the award. Mr. Brady, you stay here, don't go yet, because we're not done with you. Mr. Brady, stay here. The next honoree, yes, you guessed it, William Everett Brady of Morristown. You are our next honoree. Hold on one second, Steve. Your family submitted you for the honor, and presenting it is Commissioner Stephen Shaw. Now, as you heard, Mr. Brady grew up in Morristown as one of 8 children. He served in the U.S. Army during the time of the Vietnam War from 1962 through 1965, but he was stationed in Korea. Mr. William Brady served in what is known as the Korean DMZ, and Morris County will honor him with our Distinguished Military Service Korean War Medal. He received decorations during his service for being an expert rifleman with an M1 and a sharpshooter with an M14. Following his honorable discharge in 1965, Mr. Brady entered the plumbing and heating supply industry. He is the president and owner of Brady Plumbing and Heating right here in Morristown and has served the community through the JCs. Thank you, Mr. Brady, for your service and congratulations. And now, Commissioner Shaw, it is your time. Passed a couple minutes ago it was, and let's continue. Next honoree, Our next honoree is Robert Kent Shaw of Boonton Township. Presenting is Deputy Director John Krickus, USMC. Mr. Shaw, who has since passed, was the father of our fellow Commissioner Steve Shaw. And we thank you for accepting these honors on behalf of your family, Mr. Shaw. Mr. Shaw graduated as a machinist before serving in the U.S. Army during the Korean War. With the 7th Infantry Division, he defended the line from Mondang-ni to the rim of Punch Bowl from 1951 through 1952. The 7th Infantry also assaulted and captured Triangle, Sandy, and Jane Russell Hills in 1952. Mr. Shaw was a small arms repairman who put his machinist skills to work when weapons parts were scarce. He convinced his commanding officer to set up a machine shop, and he fabricated the needed parts. Mr. Shaw won the Korean Service Ribbon with 3 campaign stars and the United Nations Service Ribbon. He and his wife, Anita, settled in New Jersey, moving in 1967 to Mountain Lakes, where Bob liked to stay, and they were on vacation 365 days a year. The couple had a daughter and 2 sons during their 60-year marriage and 4 grandchildren. In 1973, he founded Shaw Built Homes and became a leader in the home building industry. He served as president of the Builders Association of Somerset and Morris and was inducted into New Jersey Builders Hall of Fame. We thank the Shaw family for his service. Our next honoree is Arthur Charles Shukam of Rockaway Borough. Presenting Commissioner Catherine DeFilippo. Mr. Shukam, right? Shum, okay. Mr. Shum, Miss Shum served with U.S. Air Force during the Vietnam War from May 2, 1968 through March 30, 1972. He was born and raised in Jersey City before he enlisted in the Air Force, where he attained the rank of sergeant. He also received the National Defense Service Medal, the Vietnam Service Medal, the Republic of Vietnam Campaign Medal, and Air Force Campaign Medal, and Air Force Good Conduct Medal. After being honorably discharged in 1972, Mr. Shum owned and operated a produce business for 16 years in Bayonne. He later sold his business and worked for ShopRite in Dover for 35 years. Mr. Shum, now retired, has been a loving husband for over 50 years with 3 children and 9 grandchildren. He is currently retired. Congratulations, sir, and thank you for your service. No. Next honoree is Carl Mike Cabanas of Morristown. Presenting is Commissioner Deborah Smith. Mr. Cabanas served in both Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Iraqi Freedom with the U.S. Army from 2000 through 2013. He enlisted after graduating Chatham High School in 1999, serving with the 101st Airborne Division and deploying to Iraq for a year in 2002. He served with the New Jersey Army National Guard, deploying through 2005 during Operation Enduring Freedom. Mr. Cabanas joined ROTC and was commissioned as a military officer in 2008, serving 5 years of active duty as a commissioned officer. He deployed to Kunar, Afghanistan in 2011, serving as a mortar platoon leader, and he was wounded in mid-2011 by sniper fire, retiring as a captain in 2013. Mr. Cabanas received 2 Army Commendation Medals and a Purple Heart, 3 Army Achievement Medals, and a Good Conduct Medal, 2 Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary Medals, a Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, and a Humanitarian Service Medal, and he was presented with a U.S. flag upon retirement. Upon leaving the military, Mr. Cabanas returned to Chatham and pursued a law enforcement career. He is currently a Middlesex College police officer. Thank you for your service, Mr. Cabanas, and congratulations. Okay. Thank you. Honoree 7. Next is John P. Wagner of Montville. Presenting the honor is Commissioner Thomas Mastrangelo. Mr. Wagner served in the U.S. Army during the Vietnam War from June 1957 through May 1969. He was promoted to captain by 1959, just 2 years after enlisting in the military, and he received a Bachelor of Science degree from Ohio University after his honorable discharge. He became a systems analyst, consultant with the Burroughs Corporation, Exxon Corporation, United Parcel Service, and PricewaterhouseCoopers. Mr. Wagner has been a loving husband for 57 years, raising 3 children, Mark, Christine, and Patrick, with his wife, Frances. His service to his local community included being a member of the Knights of Columbus, Montville Food Pantry, Habitat for Humanity, and Montville Senior Center. Mr. Wagner, thank you for your military service and your community service, and congratulations, sir. Our next veteran is Ketan Kumar, Ketan A. Shah of Parsippany. Presenting the honor is Commissioner Stephen Shaw. Mr. Shaw served in the United States Marine Corps in both Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Iraqi Freedom. Living in North Bergen when he joined the Marine Corps, Mr. Shaw served beginning in March 2002 after the terrorist attacks in New York City and Washington, D.C. the previous fall. He continued to serve through August 2010, being trained as a machine gunner and receiving commendations that included the Combat Action Ribbon, Overseas Deployment Ribbon, a Marksman Rifle Badge, an Armed Forces Reserve Medal with M device, and a presidential citation. Mr. Shaw now has a master's degree in business administration, accounting and finance, and is currently employed as a corporate tax analyst. He volunteers his time organizing Toys for Tots charity campaigns. Congratulations, sir, and thank you for your service. Thank you. Next honoree, Thomas Philip Infusino, the third of Montville is next. Presenting the honors, Commissioner Thomas Mastrangelo. Mr. Infusino served in the New Jersey Army National Guard, including a tour in Afghanistan during Operation Enduring Freedom in 2013. He entered the Guard after graduating high school and served in Europe as a military police officer until being discharged in 2006. He re-enlisted in 2010, was activated in 2012 after Superstorm Sandy devastated parts of New Jersey. By 2013, he was activated again to serve in Afghanistan, landing in the Helmand province for 6 months. He earned the Afghanistan Campaign Medal with a Campaign Star, Army Commendation Medal, National Defense Service Medal, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, Army Service Ribbon, Overseas Service Ribbon, and NATO Medal. His civilian career included serving as a Belleville police officer, and he's now with the Bergen County Sheriff's Department. Mr. Infusino and his wife, Rachel, have 2 children and live in Towako. We wish you well in your law enforcement career, sir, and thank you for your military service. Next is Nancy M. Jones of Wharton. And I have the pleasure of presenting this medal. But first, let me read this before I do it. Ms. Jones served in the U.S. Army during the Vietnam War from 1967 through 1968. She grew up in North Carolina and joined the Army when she was 19 years old, leaving her small town of Sanford to catch a plane in Raleigh. It was the first plane flight in her life, and it took her to Fort McClellan, Alabama. She saw herself at the time as a young woman beginning a new journey. Now, when people are recommended for our Distinguished Military Service Medals, we ask them or loved ones to provide us a little background on their time in military service. Here's something Ms. Jones wrote that I enjoyed. One thing that I stuck in my mind was getting up every morning, saluting the United States flag at 5 a.m. I did not understand why it had to be so early. I couldn't make sense any of that. But I followed the rules, and I grew accustomed to the discipline. That is the reason why I am upset and my heart cries out, even today, when I see someone burning the flag. Ms. Jones went on to attend different schools, including our County College of Morris in Randolph. She was employed by Warner Lambert Pharmaceutical Company for 22 years and Delta Airlines for 26 years. And each year, Ms. Jones actively organizes Black History celebrations. Thank you for your service and congratulations, Nancy Jones, and I'll be right there. Thank you. Our final veteran, Richard Allen Elfenbein of Flanders, is unfortunately no longer with us. However, his wife of 50 years, Myrna Elfenbein has graciously joined us to accept her husband's honors. Presenting our Distinguished Military Service Medal is Commissioner Douglas Cabana. Mr. Elfenbein served in the U.S. Marine Corps during the Vietnam War from 1966 through 1968. He was born in Brooklyn, New York, where he lived when he entered the Marine Corps on January 18th of 1966. He had 2 years of college, and in the service he studied the Vietnamese language and went through mine warfare and demolition school. Mr. Elfenbein was a machine gunner, and he earned 2 Purple Hearts, a Bronze Star, the National Defense Service Medal, the Vietnamese Service Medal, Vietnamese Campaign Medal, and the Rifle Marksman Badge. Those are certainly some honors. Upon returning to civilian life, Mr. Elfenbein worked in retail sales and showroom management. Myrna describes him as a family man and a proud father, as well as a proud veteran. We thank him and all of our veterans today for their service. Will everyone please rise and join me applauding them all? At this time, we will now turn our program again to the honors on the courthouse lawn, where a wreath will be placed at the flagpole to honor our fallen soldiers. I ask everyone to stand. Doing the honors will be William Menzel, the VFW Post 7333 Vice Commander and lead spokesman for the Vietnam Memorial Moving Wall visit to CCM this July. This closes our ceremony, but I would like to remind everyone that we do have hot dogs, soft drinks available. Do not be shy. I also want to take 1 minute to thank all of our veterans and to name a few of the people who made today special. Thank you, Michael Del Vecchio, for being here to play taps, Bob McNally for your bagpipes, and the Lakeview School in Denville for your beautiful voices. Chris Walker and everyone at Buildings and Grounds for making the grounds beautiful despite the construction. Lieutenant Rowoff of the Sheriff's Office and Paul Carifi from our Academy for arranging the cadet detail and 21 gun salute and orchestrating the honors. To everyone in our Veteran Services Office for helping us bring our veterans here today. To all of our federal and state representatives who joined in honoring the veterans, and to the county officials here, and especially our administrator, John Bonani, who always makes certain our veteran tributes are held annually. No matter what is happening in the world, and no matter how we need to do it, he makes certain we are here around every Memorial Day. We expect to see you next year, sir. And finally, to everyone in our communications shop for coordinating this entire event, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you again. Thank you.